good business people know how to hire the right people. And they're not necessarily looking at a resume, or they're not looking at a list of check boxes to see who to hire. They're looking at that trait in the person. When they find the right person, they just know it. And most of the times, these are just judgments they rely on based on their intuition. They might give you a reason saying, well, that person said this, or the person displayed confidence. But then when many people show confidence, they still know who is the right person for that particular job. And a lot of time, this comes from their own experience about people. And I think it's very difficult to hide history, especially to seasoned business people, because business people, whether they want to hire or whether they want to partner with you, they're very intuitive about who they work with. Like, I was once having dinner with an investor. He told me that in the first 15 minutes he makes his decision about whether he wants to invest in a particular founder or not. And he says, I have no logical reason. I just know if I want to invest in that person or not. And a lot of people at the top make their decisions like that. It's based on their understanding of human behavior and nature. And it's very difficult to hide your past from people like that. If you have been thinking for 10 days about all the things that can go wrong in your life, and then this morning you wake up in the morning and you say, I'm going to crack this deal and I'm going to be a positive thinker, you might look superficially happy on the outside, but a seasoned businessman could read through you. They could look at you and they could see where you're actually coming from. I mean, I know this is possible because this is what I do in my work. I might meet a 2,000 crore business owner walking in, and I might look at him and said, what is so sad in your life? And he would ask me, how do you know? And most of the time my answer is, it's written all over your face. He might be smiling at that point in time, but then I think once you start developing the eye for it, you start noticing what people have done, what they're continuing to do, and what they will do in the future. Because the important thing about history is that history repeats. Patterns don't change unless you deliberately interrupt the pattern and then you set forward a new direction. And that is the work we do. So when people come to UP, we are interrupting their pattern. And once we interrupt their pattern, we are setting them in a new direction. So once they are in a new direction, the experiences that they create is different. The thoughts are different. The way their body responds to that is different. The history that they're creating in the future for themselves is different. So later, 6 months from then, when somebody looks at them, they're definitely going to see that this person is a new person. We just heard a story about somebody who got hired in a very, very senior position where he is launching a big multi-billion-dollar organization's launch in India. He's the first hire. And the boss who hired him knew him from earlier. And he said, the person I knew you to be before, I wouldn't have given you this job. The thing is, people make decisions based on their first look at you. Based on your small interactions with them. They understand how serious you are, how committed you are. And these are not things you can fake, at least not when you're dealing with real serious and experienced, seasoned business people. Now, when you're going for a job interview, you're going to the HR channel, it's a different procedure. You have check boxes to fill in. But when you're being hired or partnering with somebody who is a decision maker, who's managing profit and loss, who's an entrepreneur, then they're looking for completely different things. And I think it's very difficult to hide who you are. It shows. The person you are shows whether you want it or not. The question is not changing who you are momentarily. The experience has to be to change who you are from within, so that in the weeks and months you live new experiences, you create new thoughts, to the point that it shows on the outside, that you just interact, be who you are, be natural, but the vibe you give out is different. People look at you and have confidence in the things that you say. And it's not about what you say, it's not even about body language as to, do I broaden my shoulder or do I lower my voice? It has to be a natural vibe, and natural vibe comes from stored patterns. Patterns come from repetition. Repetition comes from breaking an existing pattern and creating a new pattern instead. And that's what we do at UP.